Voluntary water restrictions are back.
Trying to limit your showers to no more than 3 minutes, flushing only when necessary.
Calgarians urged to conserve as weeks of critical feeder main work gets underway. Plus, inflationary concerns, volatile oil prices' impact on consumers stirred by a Middle East war.
The ice is completely unpredictable.
And the ambitious artistic undertaking on Alberta's own Abraham Lake.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Camilla DiGiuseppe.
Good afternoon. The city is back under voluntary water restrictions as crews shut down the Bearspaw South feeder for critical repairs after 3 failures led to mass flooding over the last 2 years. Jacqueline Wilson is covering the story for us tonight. Jackie, the city also opened a community resource center today.
Yes, Camilla, they sure did. So just behind me, you can see inside the Bowness Community Association, they actually have a special office that they've set up just inside the doors on the left if you want to stop by. And that's to try and improve communication. So staff are on site here to answer any questions you have. Even if you have concerns and you want to stop by and talk about that, they can certainly do it. They say today was the first day. They had about a handful of people stop by, and the questions were all the way from what traffic restrictions were to what some of the city's long-term plans were going to be. So if you want to stop by, everyone is welcome, they say. It is open from Monday to Thursday, and it will remain open actually until next week. And of course, this is all happening because the Bearspaw feeder main has been shut down as major repairs on the pipe take place in 9 areas. That's over the next 4 weeks. The water main handles about 60% of the city's treated water. So to make up for some of that supply, the Glenmore Water Treatment Plant, they will be helping out. But of course, that still leaves a bit of a gap in water production. So Calgarians and the surrounding communities, they are being asked to do their part to conserve. So keep that water use below the 500 million litres per day mark. And this does include no outdoor water use and a reduction of our indoor use.
That means trying to limit your showers to no more than 3 minutes, flushing only when necessary, and running your dishwasher or washing machine only when they're full.
Now, the mayor did say today this isn't the last water restrictions that we are going to go through. We will see more restrictions coming in the fall, and that's because they have already started construction on that new steel pipe that will run parallel to the water feeder main right now. And as construction goes on for that, they will need to do similar water restrictions coming up in the fall. That steel pipe is expected to be done by December, and then operations can take over for that. And the price tag for all this, Camilla, is sitting at about $439 million. Back to you.
All right, Jacqueline, thank you so much. The Middle East conflict has gas prices in Calgary still sitting at around $1.50 a litre. But despite the high price, the provincial finance minister says it's not enough to trigger tax relief for Albertans.
Did some quick math this morning. If oil were to average, say, above 110 for the last 5 days, it could trigger the lowest level of relief. So unlikely, but not impossible.
According to legislation, tax relief at the pumps has to happen at the beginning of a quarter. The next one starts April 1st, and there is not enough monitoring time to trigger it. The finance minister also says, given the volatility in the price of oil, it's important to be mindful that what goes up will come down. And Tyler Barrow has more on how the high price of oil is impacting Albertans. Tyler, it's not just gasoline we're paying more for.
Camille, with the war in Iran putting pressure on gasoline prices, anything that gets to the store by truck will also cost more. Now, one food industry analyst we spoke with says the impact on food prices lags by about 3 months. And every 25% increase in the price of oil equates to about $200 more you'll have to spend on groceries for a family of 4. The cost of producing food is also rising. Alberta farmers will have to pay more for fertilizer because 30% of the world's ingredients to make it come from the Middle East. The war in Iran is also expected to drive up inflation.
Assuming if this were to continue on for the next while, we're going to see an ongoing impact in terms of some of the inflationary challenges that have surfaced over the past number of years that moderated and stabilized somewhat, but now are being accelerated again.
Now, jet fuel has also gone up. One airline expert we spoke with says travelers going to North or South America, anywhere, can expect a 10% increase, while those heading overseas can expect an increase in their by about 20%. Now, the conflict is also causing flights to be diverted in the Middle East, which is adding time to routes and costs to ticket prices. Cam?
Tyler, thank you so much. A woman escaped safely with her dog as a large fire broke out at an Airdrie home this morning.
Wow.
Video from a CTV News viewer shows a carriage home, garages with living suites above, engulfed in flames on Channelside Drive. Airdrie firefighters arrived and started spraying water, but the building was a total loss. 2 vehicles in the garages were destroyed. Nearby structures also have some damage, including melted siding. No one was hurt. The department called for assistance from neighboring partners.
When crews arrived, they did see external fire outside of the property, and they did put a fight up, and we did unfortunately lose the primary property. We had crews respond from across the city, as well as our partners from Rocky View County, Crossfield, and the City of Calgary, as we had a few different calls going on this morning at the same time.
The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Fire prompted the evacuation of a hotel in downtown Calgary this morning. At around 8 a.m., lots of smoke was coming from the parkade of the Sandman that was also seeping into the lobby. The hotel's sprinkler system put out the flames. Police are investigating after someone set off firecrackers in Chinook Centre. It happened around 3:30 Sunday afternoon. Many inside the mall thought the loud bangs were gunfire and ran for the exits. Police say they have reviewed CCTV footage and are still looking for the suspects. Calgary Public Library is facing criticism after a call for artists to apply to a residency program only if they use artificial intelligence in their work. The CPL posted on social media last month it wants an artist that utilizes AI technology ethically. The library wants someone who has used the technology as a tool, collaborator, or in the creation of original works. It's a 10-week residency, and the artist will be compensated $50 per hour to a maximum of $8,000. One local artist says AI is an unethical way to create art and comes with environmental concerns. They'd rather see the money spent on what they call authentic work.
But $8,000 to improve an artist's stature and their visibility, to help them hone their craft and to develop as an artist, and to then get it out there in a public space is life-changing for a young artist.
Calgary Public Library says the winner will be chosen next month. Let's bring in our Danielle Salvoni with our first look at the weather. We had quite the dusting of snow this afternoon.
And a good snowfall yesterday. And this is March, so you're looking at every few days a snowfall. That's what's in the forecast. It's what's been happening. And as for the rest of this week, same idea. When I show you the long range, you'll know what I mean. But basically, every 3 days, you can expect some snow. All right, -4 is the temperature. With the wind relatively calm, it feels about -6 right now, but sometimes it's up to about 15 kilometers per hour. All right, your 24-hour forecast is brought to you by Fifth Avenue Volkswagen. Family-owned, community-driven. Discover more at Fifth Avenue Volkswagen. For the evening hours, basically by about 7:30 p.m., it looks like the flurries will be out of the way. A lot of sunshine expected for tomorrow. Cold to start, though. Wind chill of -14 when off to work and school. And in the afternoon, getting up to +2, small chance of late day flurries.
Danielle, thank you. Still to come, a pair of telling surveys, from the impact of separation talks on businesses to a snapshot of current support for the federal Conservatives, and where Alberta is seeing a big recent spike in measles cases. Also, if you have a news tip, text us at 10400. A poll by the Alberta Chamber of Commerce shows more than half of Calgary businesses are worried about separatism. 93% of respondents say the impact on the economy is negative, with most also saying it's negatively affecting their business operations. Businesses polled say separatism is more worrying than tariffs, pipelines, or costs. There are concerns that separation could lead to a recession, reduced business investment, and difficulty attracting workers or dealing with other provinces. A new poll suggests Alberta's federal political landscape may be more competitive than it has been in years. An Abacus data poll suggests Liberal fortunes on the rise in our province, while Conservatives still lead province-wide with 51% support among committed voters. The Liberals have risen to 36%. The pollster says that growth is making urban ridings more competitive. Liberals now lead in Edmonton and are within 10 points in Calgary, but rural Alberta remains firmly blue. The survey also finds federal government approval in Alberta is closely divided, with 41% approving and 37% disapproving. Abacus Data's CEO says the rise likely is driven in large part by international events.
The threat that they feel is not Ottawa anymore as much as it is external to Canada. It's Donald Trump. It's global insecurity. It is, an economic climate that is being pushed on us as opposed to created in another part of the country.
The Abacus Data survey was conducted between February 20th and 25th among 1,000 Alberta adults. The margin of error is plus or minus 3.1 percentage points, 19 times out of 20. 3 upcoming federal by-elections could tip the Liberal minority government into a majority. Former Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland's seat is up for grabs in the Toronto area. Bill Blair's seat, also in Toronto, is open after he was appointed Canada's High Commissioner to the UK. And a riding in Quebec will be a rematch between the Liberals and the Bloc Québécois. The seat was decided by a single vote last year, but that was later overturned by the Supreme Court. All right, let's head back to Danielle. We had that first dusting of snow yesterday and today as well. We have more on the way this week.
Yeah, and even yesterday was pretty significant. It was enough to shovel, absolutely, anywhere from about 3 to 8 centimeters in the city. And when you look at the system before that we got about a week ago, just over a week ago, that was 6 to 16 centimeters of snow. So just keep in mind with these systems, there's quite a range that we're going to get even just within the city itself with regards to snowfall totals each time. March is our snowiest month. We have more rounds of snow on the way, and it's basically been happening about every 3 days. And that's kind of what we're looking at moving forward as well. So we'll talk more about that in a little bit. -2 is the temperature in Calgary, feeling more like -6 with the wind chill, -1 in Pincher Creek, 1 in Lethbridge, Milk River, and in Drumheller, 2 in Brooks. We had a fairly windy day today in some communities, but nothing excessive, although Lethbridge has just picked up. So closer to 70 kilometers per hour was the max gust so far today in Lethbridge, 50 in Medicine Hat, 61 in Pincher Creek. We're looking at 50 kilometer per hour gusts in this corridor here. Medicine Hat will likely calm down to about 40 for tomorrow in Calgary. Brooks, we're looking at 40 kilometer per hour gusts for tomorrow. Okay, here's a look at the little bursts of snow that we've been talking about. There's one closer to Lethbridge. There's also a couple pockets around Calgary as well. This will likely be completely done by 7:30 tonight, and then things will clear out. But we are looking at instability for the rest of this week, which means just similar to late day thunderstorms that we get in the summer, late day pop-up flurries is certainly possible. We have that now. We can get that tomorrow. We can get that the next day as well. Here's a look at what we're looking at for this evening, clearing out. And then by midnight, it's completely out of southern Alberta. And then tomorrow, mainly sunny skies for the most part, Calgary, of course. And then later in the day, we're going to get these little pop-up pockets of flurries. So we could see a little bit of that in Calgary, about a 30% chance. It looks like mainly it will develop just outside of Calgary and then track off to the east. Similar idea for Wednesday. We'll get these isolated pop-up flurries once again and then tracking off to the east. Nothing significant from this, maybe a light dusting if that, and then it's out of the way. So later in the day is what you can expect. But by Thursday, 3 days from now, we get another significant snowfall, and this is one to shovel. So we're looking at anywhere from 5 to 8 centimeters at this point is what it looks like in Calgary. It is a bit of a ways away, so keep that in mind. I will keep you posted as we get closer to what snowfall you can expect, but up to about 7 centimeters in Calgary, Okotoks, High River, close to that in Lethbridge. Mainly most communities seeing that, but closer to the mountains, you can see we will see heavier amounts from this. It will be more concentrated there. All right, longer range forecast. 2 degrees for tomorrow, gusts 40 kilometers per hour, sunshine in the morning and in the afternoon, a mix of sun and cloud for Wednesday and 4 degrees. And then again, the small chance of late day pop-up flurries. Thursday, 3 to 5 centimeters of snow, and that is back again for Saturday as well.
The province confirmed more than 30 new measles cases over the weekend. 28 of those cases is in the province's south zone, with 2 other cases reported in Calgary. Only 7 measles cases are considered active and transmittable. Alberta Health adds that 8 people are in hospital, but nobody is intensive care. The province says 2 doses of the MMR vaccine are the best way to protect yourself against measles. Prescriptions for ADHD medication have doubled among adults since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. That's according to a recent study published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal. It also found more than half of adults in Ontario who got a new prescription were women, with the median age being 31 years old. The study's authors say the trend is likely influenced by greater awareness of adult ADHD and better access to care after years of underdiagnosis of the disorder in women. Coming up, Calgary-based WestJet penalized, accused of failing to meet passenger protections rights. How much the air carrier is being told to pay. Quite an interesting day on the markets. Joining me is Liana Washniak, investment advisor with the Popwich Carmeli Advisory Group. So, Liana, what did we see happen out there?
Well, we saw the day get off to quite a negative note, with oil spiking over $100 a barrel, and both Canadian and U.S. markets tilted south fairly sharply, up down over 1% in some cases. But by the end of the day, we had actually turned that around, and we saw positive gains on both the TSX, we saw it on the S&P 500, the Dow, the NASDAQ, all of them finishing in positive territory, and oil actually finishing down slightly. Now, the reason that we saw this reversal over the course of the day was it started with some worries about basically supply and the ability of to get oil out of Iran and the area around it, surrounding the Gulf. But by the end of the day, we got some remarks from President Trump that helped to calm the market a little bit, saying that the war was closer to being done than we thought that it was originally. Traders had largely priced in the fact that we would see elevated oil prices for a fairly long period of time, which would really put downward pressure on companies' bottom lines. And by the end of the day, if we are closer to the end of this conflict than we thought that we were, chances are that those elevated prices won't remain in effect and won't have the type of impact that traders were thinking that they would at the beginning of the day.
Okay, interesting indeed. Next, Live Nation. It settles an antitrust lawsuit.
That's right. And this has been an interesting lawsuit to watch, because basically several states in the U.S. Justice Department were trying to figure out whether or not Live Nation and Ticketmaster, by extension, had a monopoly over concerts and other events that are ticketed through their systems. Basically, they came to a settlement which would have them pay over $280 million worth of damages, but also divest some of their exclusivity rights on 13 different venues and allow other ticket providers to use their platforms in order to open up the market a little bit and increase competition. Now, this is good news for people who are looking for lower ticket prices. It's designed to provide some immediate relief. Some of the states involved in this lawsuit think that it didn't go far enough, unfortunately, so they will continue to press for more concessions from Live Nation. But overall, market took that as a good sign. They traded up over 6% today.
All right, Liana, thank you so much.
Thank you.
WestJet has been fined $70,000 for violating the air passenger protection regulations. It's connected to the delay and cancellation of the Calgary to Nanaimo flight on February 16, 2025. APPR says WestJet failed to provide passengers with a reasonable amount of food and drink. It also didn't offer passengers hotel accommodation or transportation to and from the airport. WestJet has until April 7th to appeal. Water restrictions are in effect for Calgary and several surrounding communities. Here's Tara Nelson with a look ahead to CTV News at 6.
Hi, Camilla. For the next month, water needs to be conserved while feeder main repairs take place. Coming up at 6, the latest on the work that is underway. Plus, we'll hear from residents most impacted by this current construction. Also ahead, the Calgary Public Library responds to criticism about its new Artist in Residence program, where artificial intelligence has to be used in the work. We'll see you at 6. Camilla.
Tara, thank you. A sinkhole has opened up in a southwest neighborhood. The hole was spotted on Bel Air Place. City crews have put fencing around the area until repairs can be complete. Fire crews stopped by this morning to make sure it had not grown in diameter. Local traffic is still able to get through. All right, hopefully that snow is out of the way until at least Thursday. But right now in Calgary, we are sitting under mostly cloudy skies and -4 degrees. Danielle has more details on your weather next. Strong wind gusts whipped across Alberta yesterday. In Edmonton, roads closed because of fallen trees. Power lines also went down. Fortis reports thousands of homes lost power across the province. A school north of Edmonton is closed because of wind damage and will remain that way until a structural assessment and repairs are complete. Danielle, yesterday, there's an evergreen outside my place and it was dancing around like no one was watching. No, the wind was so strong. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was really gusty. So we had quite a weekend, with the snowfall, with the wind, and then we've had just basically more convective energy today, meaning those late day pop-up flurries is what we've been seeing. That's almost done with for the evening, and late day pop-up flurries are possible for the next couple of days, and then we get into a decent snowfall on Thursday. We're sitting at -4 right now. Our high was -2. Tomorrow you're looking at a daytime high of +2, small chance of late day flurries. Wednesday, small chance of those supper time flurries as well. But then late Wednesday night in through Thursday, you're looking at total, including Wednesday night and Thursday, anywhere from 4 to about 8 centimeters of snow.
Danielle, thank you. Alberta's wintry landscape has caught the eye of an international artist. This is the mesmerizing work of David Papa on Abraham Lake, just over 3.5 hours northwest of Calgary in the Nordegg area. Famous for its frozen methane bubbles, Papa uses only chalk and charcoal to create his art. Papa partnered with Travel Alberta to create 3 pieces over 12 days, 2 on Abraham Lake and the other in Klein River Canyon. He says he's so grateful to have worked on Alberta's natural canvas, but it was also very grueling.
My hand felt like it was going to fall off by the end of that day. That I literally could not, there was not a second to lose. It was like 0 to 3 degrees. So it was either like windy and then my chalk or charcoal would freeze on the surface. Then it would warm up because of the sun.
Papa also faced the intense wind gusts on Abraham Lake and said it only took 1 day for the wind to make his beautiful work disappear. He called the 3 pieces the trilogy renewal and just gorgeous. Thank you so much for joining us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.